What's going on, everyone? American and Leeds, the American and Leeds YouTube and X channels. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. My name, of course, Alex Simon. And thanks so much for joining me this evening. I want to talk a little bit about Leeds United and go over the following storylines. The starting lineup, the Bogle ban, which I think is going to be, I think it's going to happen. The 49ers buying Rangers, which looks like it's picked up some steam here. And you can smell it. You can smell it. That's what Jaden, Ethan Ampadu said to the team as they gathered around after the Sutherland win. You can smell it. And then I want to talk a little bit about yo-yoing. Yo-yoing. It looks like the bottom three are now, at least at the Premier League, are now pinned for relegation, and they all had must-win games, and they all let 4 goals past them, specifically with Leicester City and Ipswich. Very disappointing, but also I have no ill will towards Ruud van Nistelrooy, the gaffer for Leicester City. So sorry for Leicester City fans, but do not like Ruud. Let's go into the starting lineup. What we see in the starting lineup, and this is my starting lineup. I'm going to take pelters for my typo here of not naming Meslier as the goalie. It was just a typo. Meslier is my goalie going into this game, obviously. But I have on Twitter. Sorry for the folks streaming on Twitter, but my main streaming here is going to be on YouTube, and I'm sharing my screen. But backline of Firpo, Strauch, Rodon, and Bogle, pretty standard. And then I have a midfield two of Rothwell and Ampadu. Al Tanaka is, in my estimation, a probable Premier League midfielder and one of my favorite players on the team. My problem is just system and style. Al is more of a holding. He's press resistant. Ampadu has to start. He's the captain. So Ampadu is going to start in the biggest game of the year. And then for me, I think Rothwell just attacks that midfield space. He really drives the ball into the final third aggressively. And here's the other thing. He is the best player on set pieces. And we're wasting set pieces. Wasting set pieces before he came into the game. And we can't do that in every match. So I think Rothwell, to me, has to start. He has to get balls into the box. He has to be on set plays. And, I mean, we don't have another set piece taker for me. And so I don't know. I just think Rothwell has to start. So Al is the odd man out in that. Gruev, I mean, you saw what happened when Gruev was taking corners. Just wasn't working. He wasn't good. The service was not. The balls in were embarrassing. In fact, there was a couple of times against the Sutherland game where we could have just rolled it back to their keeper. It was a wasted opportunity at a corner. So Rothwell's in for me. And then Solomon, Aronson, James, and Perot. That's the front four. I think that front four is clicking and very dangerous. The reason Leeds United are having success this season, and I think the reason that they're having more success offensively than last season, rather than it felt like at times last season it was give the ball to Somerville, give the ball to Ruter. Now it's more of a complete team. Now we have a team that I think the right people in the right positions, if that makes sense. It's not round, square peg, round hole FC as it's been. Now it's thin. I will say it's thin, but players are in the positions that they should be, right? In their favorite position, in their named position. And Firpo and Bogle make this team go. Do not kid yourself. Firpo and Bogle are the reason that we will get promoted. Sounds crazy, It sounds crazy, but they are out and out fullbacks that provide overlaps and underlaps. And now we have three ways to attack the pitch. I think we attack the pitch. We can attack the pitch directly centrally through the spine, and of course on the wings. And these players allow it to happen. Anytime Firpo or Bogle gets subbed out, Byram, who's been a great servant to the club, and one of the reasons why I think we'll continue to be, if we get promoted, he'll be kind of an unsung hero. But we just don't have that attacking threat as we do, where we can really overload and overwhelm the opposition in I think a correct way, if that makes any sense. But Bogle and Firpo are key to this game. The next thing we want to talk about here is Bogle's touchline ban, because I just said he's so key to promotion. He's so key to results. He's key to like a 1-2 nail biter going to 4-0, 7-0. That's Bogle and Firpo, in my opinion, offering those pockets of space, spreading out those defenders, and allowing all players across the pitch opportunities to score goals. It just are. It doesn't take much. I'm not a statistical guy. I'm an eye test guy. But let's see this. Bogle picking up his 9th yellow of the season during the first half means he must avoid a booking in the next 4 games. Otherwise, he'll be suspended for 2 matches. So he's going to pick up another yellow card. But the good news is he will be available for this game. So not ideal. Firpo, he struggles to stay healthy. Bogle's been healthy all season. He's been doing fantastic. I mean, it's like really in this league, it's like having another winger on the pitch. But those 2 games that he will get suspended for at some point, and it'll probably happen in this game. Let's be honest. He'll probably get a yellow card in this game. It'll be more difficult, but bottom line is he's going to be available for Sheffield United, and that's fine. So we'll take that with Bogle. The story has come out. Let's share my screen, and we'll read this to the folks that are on Twitter, or X, as the cool kids call it. The story has come out now, I think in the last few hours, 10 hours, but I don't know if it's real, momentum or, changing from what we used to hear. I could put my teeth in, but 49ers Enterprises is set to take controlling stake in Scottish soccer club Rangers. So this was rumored, but now happening. I think there was also reports that it could just be Parag, and it was not the 49ers Enterprises. It looks like it is going to be 49ers Enterprises, which obviously own Leeds United. Now people are saying, Rangers are going to be a feeder club. Maybe Rangers fans are saying that Leeds are going to be a feeder club. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this all unfolds. There are owners that own multiple clubs across Europe. Obviously, different leagues. The Scottish Premiership versus hopefully Leeds United being in the English Premiership, but they will take a 51% stake, according to this report. And they will. It looks like they're going to sell a stake in their NFL franchise. So I don't think this is a big deal. I think the 49ers can walk and chew gum at the same time. The driving force behind this deal is Parag Marante, who is president of the 49ers Enterprises and executive vice president of football operations. He is set in his 24th year at San Francisco-based team, but has experience in British soccer, having led the $170 million takeover of Leeds United in July 23. Parag is, I don't know how else to say this. So he is highly valued by the York family, the family that owns Leeds United, that owns 49ers, owns the 49ers Enterprises, and he is viewed by that family and by the 49ers club as the person that really turned around a historic American football franchise where they've had a lot of trophies. They've had a lot of trophies and success, and they're one of the more storied NFL franchises. I will quite honestly say that. Big brand in the United States. If you want to compare them to an English soccer team, I would always say, or English football team, I would always say they do parallel similar to Arsenal. Kind of always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Recently, they've gotten to the final, the Super Bowl, and they've lost a couple of times. So they have an excellent, but they're excellently they're well run. They faltered this year, and their focus should really be on Leeds United, in my opinion. But it looks like they're expanding to Rangers, and again, I think this club is well poised and well backed. Leeds United are, and I don't have. I'm more of a Celtic fan myself, but if they want to take over another brand, historic brand like Rangers, obviously Rangers do play in Europe quite often. They will have scouting networks that maybe we don't necessarily have across Europe. I think partnerships are always good. You plug in Red Bull as well. Again, I just think this franchise, who we're owned by now, they can walk and chew gum at the same time. I really believe that. So I don't have a problem with it. And I like Barack. So until it becomes a conflict of interest, until somebody shows me something where it could be a conflict of interest, I don't have a problem with it. Next story is, and somebody pointed this out to me when I sent it out on Twitter, was the you can smell it. You can smell it, Ampadu says to the huddle. And I just thought that was so cool. When we did when we got the win over Sutherland. Here he is. Big win. We have the 95th winner. Everybody circles up, and Farke's like, no cameras, no cameras. What are you going to say, right? What are you going to say? No cameras, no cameras. Okay. What are you talking about? Everybody huddles up, and must have been a lip reader. Love it. He basically says, you can smell it. You can smell it. Let's go get it. Yeah, keep going. We've been here before. Keep going. Keep going. I've seen scenes like this. I saw it last year. We all did. Where, I predict a riot's playing, everybody's staying after, singing, arms in arms. We beat Leicester. We had Archie put one in off of somebody's back foot, and Meslier puts up a hand against, we've been here. We've all been here. You got to keep going. I want to continue to see this momentum of the club. So all good news there. And then my final thing is how to Leeds United, and people have already been talking about this because it's kind of been a slow news week, even with the win and 49ers our owners rooming to buy another club in Scotland. It really still has been slow news because we're so used to them playing 2-3 times a week. But the other news that I wanted to share with everybody was the the three that have gone that are really pinned to go down. So let's share this real quick, and then we can skedaddle out of here. Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton all got put to the sword today. Now, in the case of Southampton, the season's relatively over. But Leicester City and Ipswich both had big games today and could have helped their relegation fight, because the only other club that's really in it is Wolverhampton. So, I mean, when you have a must-win game and then you get 4 put past you, it's pretty devastating. Ipswich Town had a tough game against Spurs, but Spurs are obviously down this season. But 4-1, they get put to the absolute sword at home to Tottenham. Then you go to Leicester, who have a much more winnable game. Brentford, 4-0. At home. They're hosting Brentford. They can't even score a goal. They get put to the sword. You're going, there's when they pan over after the second goal to some of the people in the crowd, they're going, oh no. Leicester fans are going, we're going down again. It's over. They could still pull out a miracle, but they're going, oh crap. Sad. And then, of course, Southampton. I mean, they're pretty much been pinned for relegation since they got there. 4-0 to Brighton. Of course, Georgie, our former star boy, scores in a relatively cheap goal to give away. There was a turnover, working the ball out of their third, and Georgie just presses Georgie and another player press the back line, and he's just Johnny on the spot. So how do Leeds United, and everybody's been talking about this, we'll continue to talk about this, but how do Leeds United not be a yo-yo team next year? I don't have the answer. Well, I do have the answer. The only answer is significant investment. That's the only way we can do it. We have to buy a lot of players, because teams like the other side of this coin is, because the same thing happened last year. 3 up, 3 down. 3 up, 3 down. So, meanwhile, teams like Forest, Brighton, Brentford have all strengthened because they're in the league again. They have, and even Wolves can take another season off. We don't have to spend much money, and we're going to get Premier League money because we're here and just hanging around. There hasn't been a scrap in the Prem for 3 since we left. Leeds United, we had a scrap. It sucked, but we had a scrap. So when I look at the Premier League in general, how do we get, and I'll read your comments and we'll kind of get out of here, but how do we not become a yo-yo team? That's the key. Let's take a peek at the standings. Of course, Liverpool on top. But yeah, a team like these are the clubs where I'm concerned about. And of course, Man U has had a terrible year, but they're relatively secure because another 3 are they're going down. But my fear is West Ham could put us to the sword. Like if we were to play West Ham right now, if we could play Everton, even though Everton has got average players, And then the Brentfords, the Fulhams, the Brightons, the Villas, the Bournemouths, the Forests, like they are going to eat us alive. These are the clubs that you have to compete with. And they'll be thinking, well, newly promoted Leeds United, we'll roll 4 past you. We're happy to give you the ball. So Farke's first month will be heavily evaluated. The 49ers are savvy. I was talking to Gier. Shout out to Gier a couple months back, maybe a month ago. And he's like, they got to get business done early. And I agree with that. I do think we need signings early. But the other thing is, knowing the 49ers, because they're so focused on negotiation, and they will wait. They're patient people, even though this is it's a different beast than their main franchise, the 49ers in the NFL, because there's not games going on during, well, I should say there's a trade deadline and there are games going, but there's not a ton. You can't really reshape your franchise. You can get a couple great pieces in, but I don't want to say you can we are looking at reshaping a team this summer. You're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's going to be players that you keep. A lot of core of your team you're going to keep, but you need big names in order to compete with a Fulham. You're just not going to be able to do it. I don't see it currently. The current squad. We go in, and they're 10th, right? They're an average side. They're bang in the middle. Fulham, Brighton, Brentford. All 3 of those would kill us. They would smash us. They would absolutely smash us. So I don't know what the right answer is, but I'm just saying significant investment is the only way that I think Leeds United survive, in order to not yo-yo. And even then, even after significant investment, even after a huge summer where we buy, I think you have to. The goal will be 17th. That's just the hard facts of it. It's a tough league, and to reestablish ourselves will require significant investment. As you can see, I mean, Leicester City did not want to be here. They did not want to be in the bottom 3, and it might be over for them. Ipswich, the same thing. They had a chance today to do something special, and it wound up being Wolves that got the result at Bournemouth, who's a side that wanted to win because they're playing for Europe. So anyway, something to think about. Let's hear your comments. Michael Pollard, good evening. Grove was dreadful on set pieces. I agree. He was terrible. I can understand Rothwell starting. We lose Rothwell's game-changing effect from the bench, though. Yeah, I think Rothwell, the other thing, well, you talk to players. You listen to Joe Rodon. Joe Rodon said Rothwell changed the game. So this is why it's like I can look at stats and XG and frigging goal save percentage and blah, 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 blah. When Joe Rodon came on, the game changed. Players said that. Coaches said that. Keep Joe Rodon in the game. Surely we can't mess up here. Avoid a defeat. Yes, I agree. Avoid a defeat. Certainly if you win, it's tough. It's tough. Because we'll all be kind of keeping an eye on the Premier League. Hey, Andy, how are you? Michael Pollard says we have to be ruthless if we go up. Several of our squad are not cut out for the Premier footy. Firpo, Byram, Perot, Gruev, and Joseph need serious reinforcements. Well, look, like who do you want to build around? To me, Al Tanaka is ready. Dan James, we know, is ready. I think Dan James goes up regardless if we go up. So us, Dan, Perot, I'm not convinced by. Aronson, quite honestly, I'm not convinced by. I think you try to buy Solomon, even with the injury history. So there's 3. Rodon, bubble for me. Not super convinced. Stroud can do it. He gets injury prone. And then you need fullbacks. Sounds crazy, but how about this? For the first time in my history as a fan, which dates back now 9 years, we buy fullbacks. We buy out and out fullbacks, like studs. I think we buy like stud fullbacks. It's for whatever reason, fullbacks are now just another area. It's the area where you can exploit. You can express yourself, as Bielsa would say, on the wings. Poor Sunderland, though. Keeper Howler from Jaffe Corners heard this and saw this. Gods are with us. What could possibly go wrong? I don't think Farke, we didn't talk about this, but I don't think Farke's ban will be a big deal. I think he will basically be in the owner's box or a box. He'll be talking to the coach, the gaff, or whoever's down on the touchline. All the instructions will come from him. I mean, there'll be a delay there, but right, if something needs to be tweaked, it's gonna be coming from him. He's still allowed in halftime. He's still allowed downstairs at halftime. So all the substitutes will be coming from him. I just don't. It won't be his voice on the touchline, but all the decisions will be his, right? Learn by our recent mistakes. If we adapt to the FA Cup attitude, we won't last long. Yes, I agree with that. Meslier needs replacing too. Yeah, I agree. So let me just think about it. Yeah, I think there's 3 players that I think you've built around right now. James, Solomon, Al Tanaka, Ampadu. Stroud. The spine, I think, is strong. You need to continue to like reinforce it. I think you need a 9, 10. So like the base of the spine. Maybe not. Yeah. Let me finish. So 9, 10, goalie. Those are the 3 that you have to like overpay for and get in early. And then everything else is kind of, maybe you negotiate for fullbacks, you wait and you're patient with those. And those are ones that come in, towards the final week. But yeah, it's going to be a very tall task, and hopefully they're up for it, the 49ers, to really establish this club, because you just don't want to be chewed up and spit out. And that's what's happening right now with the newly promoted sides. I mean, we're a big club, but we got to start spending like we're a big club. And we have for the championship, it's yes and no. Let's listen to Simon Jordan's comments on are Leeds United a big club. Simon sometimes backs us because I think he took Crystal Palace into Leeds once, and he was, I don't know, he got scared or something. But let's listen to Simon Jordan.
Are considered a big club. Well, you just go to the Leeds game and you can work out why Leeds are considered a big club, because the scale of their support, the nature of the environment they play in terms of it's a hotbed for football. Yes,
it's a hotbed for football. He says Leeds is a hotbed for football.
You can go back to Don Revie and you can go back to Billy Bremner and Johnny Giles and Mick Jones and all those other great players that played for Leeds that were a dominant force in the mid-70s, early to mid-70s. Then you can go to the 91 team that was the last Englishman under Howard Wilkinson to win the top flight before it became the Premier League.
Yeah.
But when you've been there and played it and you see the scale of that football club, you know that this is a big club.
It's a big club, but there's no divine right to be a Premier League club.
Nobody has a divine right.
No divine right to be in the Premier League. Well, we're going to probably win the league. We'll earn the right, and then we'll have to spend the money. That's just what it is. It's what it's going to have to be. So that's it. That's my time on Twitter. I'll say goodbye here in a little bit if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching me on Twitter. Smash the like the smash. I don't know what's happening and what's the Twitter universe is, but follow me. Give me a follow. I love Leeds. I do this because there's not a lot of Leeds fans around me up here in the Siberia of America, known as upstate New York. So hope you're all well. Up the whites, and talk to you soon. Bye. All right, that is X. We'll continue to listen to Simon on YouTube.
I mean, Nottingham Forest were out of the Premier League for 23 years, 23 years after being European champions. But they were a parochial club, ironically turned into a great club by Brian Clough, who didn't obviously last the course, 44 days at Leeds United.
Yeah.
But Leeds United just have a different feel. You know when you're in the presence of greatness, and you know when you're in the presence of size and scale. So when you go and watch certain sides and you go to their grounds and you can see the nature of their fan base, you can see the nature of the environment, you can feel the expectation of the fan base, and you know you're in a big club.
Yeah.
And I always describe Ellen Road. It's not the nicest stadium, but I've always felt it's the most intimidating stadium. And the fans with that great big stand that goes up are at you.
Yeah.
And that was even when they were a League One club. I remember taking us down there and we got smashed by Leeds in the Cup. And we put out a second string team, but we still got smashed. And it was just the feel of that club.
Yeah.
And then, I know a lot of Leeds fans. I've spent time with people that have been involved with Leeds United on their boards. I know people that were very significant in that part of the world. I know it's a big club.
It's a big club. We have to continue to establish ourselves as a big club. And look, it's just the top six narrative has been altered. It has been. You look at Newcastle, you look at Forest, you look at Villa, I look at Bournemouth. Okay, they've established themselves now over 3 or 4 seasons. So it's going to be tough. And I really am thinking, we have to back Farke. And Farke's going to have to be on a short leash because the other managers in this league are well established. Likes Areola is now well established at Bournemouth. Every other manager, really. I mean, it's been very nice to be a mid-table side because there's 3 worst clubs, and the 3 worst clubs are usually the clubs that come up. When Leeds came up, you could kind of say, well, there's got to be 3 worse. Then it's not really. I mean, can you really say that you're going to be better than Crystal Palace? They've been here, what, a good on decade plus? I mean, I don't know, more than that, right? Bournemouth. No, not Bournemouth. I'm sorry, Brentford. Brentford's now been in that league for, 6-7 years? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a tall task. Let's not get too far ahead. Let's beat Sheffield United. Let's put in a good performance. Have the fullback start. Have Rothwell start, in my opinion. And be set up to win. Do not concede. Don't do anything stupid. I think that center back pairing of Rothwell and Strauch should be strong enough to handle anything, hopefully, that they give us. But in any case, we know, I know, the way to beat Leeds United has not changed. Nick a goal early, put in a defensive shift like Sutherland was doing. That's exactly what they were like. The Southampton formula. So as long as we score first, as long as we have a very solid defense without the ball and with the ball, we take care of the football, we'll be there. Okay, up the whites. I'm going to say I'm going to say 2-1. I don't want to say it, but I think it's going to be. I see them scoring, and I see us scoring. So another 2-1. Maybe it'll be 1-1 early, and we get the late winner with Ramazani off the bench. Ramazani with the winner off the bench. Up the Whites. That's my time.